everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me today again on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. So today we've got something I think is pretty special. It's about ready to, I believe, hit the market a little bit more than it is. Right now I think it's typically or kind of a distillery only, but this, in terms of what it is that these guys have got going on, is going to be something worth paying attention to. So what is this? So this is from Woodinville Whiskey Company. This is their PX Sherry finished bourbon. This is coming in at 95 proof or 47.5% ABV. Mash bill on this one, pretty typical of their bourbon. 72% corn, 22% rye, and 6% malted barley. It is non-age stated, but I think these are starting to get into that above 5, close to 6-year range. So some nice ages on some of these whiskeys now. And the MSRP on this one is right around that $70 price point. And it is right now typically distillery only, but as these become a little bit more popular, my guess is that these will start to eventually get out to the masses, and hopefully others have the ability to enjoy these as well. So in addition to, and we'll do a little comparison, I've also got the same bourbon that is just finished in an Oloroso sherry barrel. So we'll do kind of a slight comparison. I think both of these are also available at the distillery as well. Before I go any further, a big thank you to my buddy Joseph Brazer, who was nice enough to send these courtesy of one of the gentlemen, Orland Sorensen at or from Woodinville Whiskey Company, for me to kind of do a review of. Really looking forward to these. So everybody at Woodinville, Joseph, thank you so much for providing these for me to do a review of. So first we'll get into, again, the bourbon from the PX Sherry bourbon from Woodinville Whiskey Company. So color-wise, as you can see, absolutely fantastic color. Nice, deep, dark copper, mahogany type of color. Move it around the glass a little bit. Again, even at 95 proof. Really nice oils on the glass. Looks thick, which is really, really nice. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into the nose. Whew, boy, those deep, rich, bold, dark fruits. I mean, it just punches you right in the face. Really nice kind of like chocolate-covered cherry note. Really, really deep and rich. That's the one thing so far that this is like very much like a concentrate when you smell something. Oh yeah, that beautiful like chocolate covered cherry is really, really present. Almost like even like a rich like dates, like the fruit dates. That's kind of coming to the forefront a little bit too. And then one other thing, like this really nice sweet tobacco. So when you smell people smoking a pipe, that sweetness a lot of times you get from pipe tobacco is kind of what I'm picking up here. Even a touch of like a citrus note, more of like an orange peel or orange zest, something along those lines. Oh, some dark raisin, like more of a raisin note just popped in there as well. And some of those buttery aspects. This is one thing I pick up on a sherry finished bourbon, is there's this like buttery aspect that's there to it. Really nice note on that. Oh, that vanilla buttercream, the really nice sweet rich vanilla. A slight nutty aspect that's there too. This is more of like maybe a butter pecan, something like that. And something interesting, I also got a little bit of like a buttered toast. There's a toast or a buttered toast. There's a little bit of that like where the toast kind of begins to like burn a little bit. I get a little bit of that there as well. Not off-putting by any means, just a little bit of that note. For whatever reason, I just kind of picked that up. So, all right, more importantly, let's see how this one is going to taste. Cheers. Wow. Right away, again, like I got on the nose, big, bold, dark fruits. Nice chocolate. Nice even like coffee, like an espresso note that's there as well. that chocolate covered cherry definitely is there. Maybe even some leather more on the palate than I got on the nose. Slight bit of dryness. Again, some of that sweet tobacco that's there as well. Really nice, rich, dark, deep fruits on this one for sure. A little bit of like that, more of that concentrate that you get. Nice spice. Not blowing you away proof-wise at all. 95 proof. It's there. There's a little bit that's there, but any of the ethanol or that burn is really not there at all. You're just left with those nice, rich, bold flavors that are there. Yeah, there's something about this as well with that nuttiness, that there's a butter pecan note that I've picked up in this one as well. Nice rich vanillas as well. Yeah, again, slight touch of citrus. Maybe this citrus on the palate is a little bit more of a lemon. There's a little bit more of a tartness that's there. And again, that could be coming from the sherry as well. But yeah, a little bit more of a little bit of a bite on that on the palate. So you're a little bit more of a lemon citrus than it is orange. Got a little bit more orange on the nose, but the taste or the palate, a little bit more of that tartness. So I'm gonna kind of think of that as more of like a lemon tartness. And again, you do, with it being a pot still distillation, there's this profile. It's very hard to describe sometimes, but what I pick up at times is a little bit of this like metallic note. It's not super off-putting, or maybe like a little bit of a metallic or like a sulfur. I know that may sound bad, but you just pick up these subtle nuances from the pot still distillation. So again, it's just different than, you know, a standard, you know, column still. You just get a different profile that it has to offer. But it, you know, overall, it's a really nice, well-balanced, you know, PX Sherry Pedro Jimenez sherry finished, you know, bourbon. So I mean, I would have no problem, and I would encourage anybody who has the ability to get it, to buy it, enjoy it. It's a fantastic, you know, sherry finished bourbon. And again, the sherry a lot of times, or the PX is a little bit sweeter. Sometimes we'll find out here in a minute what the Oloroso has. Sometimes the Oloroso can be a little bit bolder, maybe a little bit more, you know, not so sweet or whatever. But again, it's a really nice bourbon. So I guess if we get into the finish part of it, you know, I would say, you know, it's fairly long. It's probably medium plus. Again, those heavy dark fruits, the sweet tobaccos that are definitely there. A little bit of that butter aspect to it as well. Nice vanillas. Yeah, the espresso, the coffee, and just the more I sip on it, the more it starts to come out. Definitely some nice dark chocolates there on this one as well. It has a lot going. I love the balance of it. That's the one nice part. So I think they've done a really fantastic job with this. I don't know how long they've aged the bourbon in the PX Sherry casks. I'd be interested to find that out, and if I do, I'll link that in the description below. But overall, if you can find this, or you're at the distillery, do not hesitate. It's a really nice, well-balanced bourbon, and I love the influence that the sherry has on this bourbon. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into, again, so this is the same bourbon, just then finished in Oloroso sherry barrel. So, yeah, this one, again, this I'd say has a much more more of that orange citrus so far on the nose. Again, a lot of the same aspects. This isn't nearly as sweet. It's not as big and bold on the dark, heavy fruits. Again, some of those chocolate, a little bit of that coffee aspect that's there, but really, really nice. So let's give this one a try. Cheers. Okay. So very similar. I would say this is probably less bold, less of an impact. I would say this is kind of like the younger brother to this in terms of what it is that the Oloroso has to offer. I don't think it's as big, as bold, as flavorful as the PX Sherry, which is typical. Oloroso sometimes has a tendency to take a little bit of a backseat to PX just in terms of what that influence has on a bourbon. But overall, it's a really, really nice, bourbon. I mean, on its own, I would have no problem sitting down, sipping on this. Really nice bourbon as well. Yeah, very, very similar. I would say this is just slightly muted versus the PX. So there you have it. I think in terms of what the PX Sherry has to offer and what it is that the Oloroso has to offer, both fantastic bourbons in their own right. Some slight differences, of course, from both, but going back to, again, the PX Sherry, if you are able to find it or order it, whatever it may be, don't hesitate. Great bourbon. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning into another one of my reviews. Greatly appreciate you watching and the support. If you'd like to follow me, you can on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those places at My Bourbon Journey. If you'd like to help support the channel or be part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, where Jason and I do lots of different picks, a lot of single barrels, things along those lines, make sure you check the link in the description below for that information as well. So again, thank you so much for tuning into another one of my reviews. And as always, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers.